You're listening to the Love Unplugged podcast, episode 75. Today on Self Saturdays, I'm chatting about self-love, something that I think we all need to continue to work on as it's a never-ending beautiful journey. So if you're wanting to take your self-love practice to the next level, this tip that I'm about to share might just help. So let's jump right in. Hey there, I'm your host, Jessica Fragon, and I am passionate about doing the inner work needed to reach your goals. Let me be your guide as we navigate all the fears and insecurities that surface when it's time to step outside of your comfort zone. Along with my knowledgeable guests and industry experts, I'm here to teach you how to reawaken your life purpose and passion and create the steps to turn your intentions into action. Ultimately, my goal is to empower you to rise above those blocks holding you back and start living a life that you are worthy and deserving of. So come on, it's time to slow down, find a comfy spot with your favorite organic tea, and get inspired. Thank you for tuning in to the Love Unplugged podcast. Happy Saturday morning, loves. I'm so honored to have you join me for another Self Saturdays episode. And today's topic is something truly near and dear to my heart, and that is self-love. Now, the reason why it's so important to me is because I came from a place of complete lack when it comes to self-love. I was pouring from an empty cup. I have no idea what I was pouring, but it sure wasn't love. So I know what it's like hitting pretty much rock bottom. And for me, at least, it was rock bottom, which, rock bottom can be different for anybody. And I know what it feels like being in that place, and it's no joke. I also know the amount of work and time it takes to rebuild self-love. And what I came to realize through my own journey is that self-love, that relationship you have with yourself, impacts every other relationship in your life. From family to friends, to work, to money, to worth, you name it, it impacts it. See, so it's absolutely critical for us to put so much more focus on it, and not only when we are struggling, but every day. Now, when COVID hit, it gave us an amazing gift of time. And this was the ultimate gift for me because I honestly lacked time in every area of my life. I was working 2 jobs Monday to Friday, which was basically 7 a.m. start time to 11 p.m. end time, with about a 2-hour break in between. It sucked. Like, looking back, I'm not quite sure how I did it, and for so many years. But because of COVID, the night job went on pause, and it's still mostly on pause right now. But the day job is now from home, which saves me about an hour of travel time daily as well. Now, I know so many are struggling with their jobs right now, and it really breaks my heart, and I don't want to take anything away from that. But this forced pause in my night job was the wake-up call that I needed to know I could support my family without it, and that we would be okay, as long as we budgeted appropriately, of course. And it was exactly what my body needed, rest and lots of me time. So yes, it's not a great situation to lose a job, but in my situation, it was the best thing that could happen to me. So, so many, including myself, have talked about how we're using this time that we've been given in the best way possible. And many feel it is going full throttle on their business, pivoting, all of that. And maybe anything less is viewed as unproductive. I might have been one of those ones thinking that if you weren't working super hard during this time that we've been given, that you were being unproductive, but I was completely wrong. So once the adrenaline wore off from the shock, the anxiety and being on edge all the time, I realized that there are different forms of productivity and it can mean different things for different people. And what I realized is that I needed to take this time for me, to rest, to reset, to unwind, to chill out, to do nothing. To do enjoyable things like cook, bake, have dinner and wine, to have lots and lots and lots of movie nights and binging Netflix days, to having baths and good cries. I shifted my focus from my business and I focused on myself. and it was the most productive thing that I could have done for me. Did my business suffer? Yes, quite a bit. I ran out of podcast guests, you name it. My plans weren't going according to what I thought they were going to do. I was very unproductive in my business, and it definitely hurt me. It slowed things down for sure. In the evenings and the weekends, I slowly started to work on myself. I read some books that inspired me. I listened to inspiring podcasts. I started journaling again, in my own way of journaling, of course. And I decided to work through my own Make Me Proud goal setting program and get super clear on what was really important to me personally, professionally, and what I wanted out of my life going forwards. It was a challenging period, but also a hugely rewarding one. But I noticed that my self-love practice wasn't exactly what I wanted it to be. Something wasn't quite right for me. I often finished work at the end of the day mentally and sometimes emotionally drained, so I wouldn't give my best to my practice. I just went through the motions whenever I was up to it because I felt guilty not sticking to it. And what I realized was that I was not giving the best of me to me. I was giving myself basically second and third sloppy thirds, if that's even a word. I would wait until the end of the day when I was drained and had already given all of me to then show up for myself. And that is when I decided to change. I decided to wake up 1 hour earlier in the morning, obviously by going to bed earlier to get enough sleep because I need my sleep. And I made a commitment to myself to no longer snooze because I got in the habit, unfortunately, of snoozing 10 times. It was really bad. I'm not even going to go there. So I decided to dedicate my best time, the time that I am most energetic and alert and refreshed, to myself first. And so far, I am loving it. So what I do in the morning is, first thing, I do not snooze. I get up when the alarm goes off. I go wash my face, I brush my teeth, and I get dressed. I grab a large glass of water with some lemon juice, and I make a cup of tea. And right now, I am absolutely obsessed with roasted dandelion root tea with honey and almond milk. The next thing I do is I journal, writing down everything I want as if they are already in the present. So personality traits that I have, skills, things that I want in my life, things like that. Whatever I want, I write it down as if I already have it. And then the next thing I do is I write in my gratitude journal. And then I meditate for about 10 minutes and I follow it with a quick yoga stretch. Then I eat breakfast and I sit quietly eating it. So what I've really, really enjoyed is how quiet the house is and how I have a fresh breeze coming in and I can hear the birds chirping, and not having the TV on or anything like that helps me kind of just focus on what I'm doing. And I find that I'm not shoveling the food into my mouth anymore. I'm actually taking time to enjoy and actually chew it, which has been so nice for a change. And then that is when I start my day job. So my next phase, I plan to wake up 1 hour earlier than I am now. And then I'm going to include some podcast and blog work first thing after I've taken that me time. So I want to know what your self-love practice is like. When do you schedule it in? Do you feel like you are giving the best you to yourself, to me time? What does your practice include? I really want to hear from you guys. So that wraps up another Self Saturdays episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I would love to hear your thoughts on these episodes. Are you liking them? Are you getting anything out of it? Are there any topics that you want to hear from me on? I definitely want to know. So connect with me. I would love for you guys to send me a DM through Instagram or even email me. My handle is @ProjectLoveCo. You can also connect with me through my website, www.projectloveco.com, and sign up for my love letters where you will receive my best advice, practices, and tools that I use to change my journey of self-discovery. So have a wonderful Saturday, and I hope you guys take some time to invest in yourselves today. I'm Jessica, and thanks for tuning in today to Love Unplugged, the podcast. If there are any questions or topics you'd love answered on the show, head on over to www.projectloveco.com and share your request with me. If you haven't yet, go to iTunes and subscribe, rate, and review this podcast and share it with a loved one. Your feedback means the world to me, and the community we've created is what fuels our discussions here. After all, this is all for you. Join me next time for another unplugged conversation.